Oh, yo, what's going on, guys? This is Anthony with themovieblog.com, and I'm back here with another video. Yo, this time I'm doing a new review for that episode of The Last of Us. Yo, how many of you guys saw that episode of The Last of Us last night? Like, yo, for real. Like, they really are amping things up to a whole new level on this show, and I'm really, really loving the HBO energy. One of the cool things that I've noticed about this show, kind of that sets it apart from some of the other shows. Yeah, I'm diving right into it. Let's hop right into the good. So, like this last episode, The Last of Us, yo, so many things happen, so many things to talk about and dive into in this particular episode. Like, there's things that we could talk about from a filmmaking perspective. One thing I noticed about this show is they like to do these cold openings. So for those of you who are not familiar with it, a cold opening is like when a show just opens and it doesn't show like opening credits, it doesn't do the opening intro, none of that stuff. Like bam, right in the show. And they like to do that with The Last of Us. And I gotta admit, like I've been really feeling that because they've been making that extra effort to set the tone with the show before I even get into it. I'm like, ooh, before I'm even ready. Like, all right, what's going on? And they're using these cold intros to tell some of the most important aspects of storytelling. In that first episode, we had that scene where those two scientists were explaining how the fungus infection could be such a tremendous catastrophic event for mankind. In this one, we see where I think it was Dr. Rotna at the beginning. It was Christine Hakim. She played a phenomenal role in this episode. I think her performance was actually flawless. Like, I have spent my entire life studying these things. There is no medicine. There is no vaccine. Bomb. Like what? What? Like the way that she did that nuanced little subtle performance, like she was so calm. She was just sitting there measuring everything when he asked her and he explained to her the circumstances that she was pulled into this room for questioning. And it was just like bomb. It was just like whoo, like the way that she delivered this scene, this moment just gave me chills. I almost feel like there deserves to be like a special maybe like award category for these little side characters. They're like, I don't want to call them side characters. They're almost like a little bit of a supporting role. Like it's like these characters that just pop in, they say something important or cool, they give that one monologue and then they're out, right? Like that was Christine Hakim in this, and she like like she was giving me chills, like like I really, really, really liked her performance in this episode. I think that she did a fantastic job in this episode as Dr. Rotner. Yeah, right. Let me pull her up. Right, like I forgot I could do this. Let's pull her up. We live now, y'all. So yeah, Dr. Rotner. She came in. I think she did a fantastic performance in this opening, setting the tone. Now I really like that they do this. I don't know who's in charge of this decision making when it comes to these cold openings, but I really like it. It sets the tone about what leads up to the pandemic and the post-apocalyptic world that Joel and Tess and Ellie all inhabit in this episode. Now, I've been trying to keep a good eye on some of the details, filmmaking perspective. One thing I learned was this episode was directed by this guy Neil Druckmann. Now, I'm going to be keeping an eye out on this dude right here. Like, I don't know much about this dude, but I'm gonna just tell you, my boy did his thing in this episode right here. I'm gonna keep my eye on him right here. He was doing this thing in this episode. Um, but yeah, this episode delivered so much right from the beginning, and then they go into the intro, and then like even the opening was cool because like we get this nice little moment where like Joel and Tess and Ellie are sitting around in this room, and they're all just like looking at Ellie, and they're like. Like yo, yo, she got shorty got bit. She got bit. She got bit. Like I'm sitting here trying to understand why we haven't like Joel is sitting here like Tess has to hold Joel back. Like I don't understand why Joel is such a pit bull in this show. Like I don't remember this characterization from the video game of him being like a pit bull. I played the game, right? I played the game, but when I was playing the game, I don't remember him always like ready to like pounce on people. Like Tess is sitting here trying to explain to him like, yo, she's a kid, yo. Don't just be putting bullet like Joe's like, why we haven't put a bullet in her yet? Like, what are we waiting for? Yo, I love the chemistry that I see with this cast between Tess, between Joel, between Ellie, Pedro Pascal, and the cast of doing a tremendous job in this little scene. This back and forth banter is like grade A. Like I didn't even know I needed some of this old school sass in my life, but I do, and I'm glad that it's here now. Stop talking about this kid like she has a future in front of her. Like, yo, my G, she's right there. She's right there. Like, yo, Joel has no filter. He has no chill in this episode. Like, I didn't understand it at all. Like, yo, again, like I was playing the game, and when I was playing the game, I don't remember none of that happening. I don't remember people like getting like Joel like being this aggressive. This is a little different for me, but I'm a rock with it. I'm a rock with it. I'm gonna see how it rolls. Um, but yo, yeah, Joel, Tess, they're looking at Ellie and they're like trying to figure out like what do we do with this kid? And I get like I don't know, I get this sense of like sensory overload as I'm watching this show, right? Like I'm watching the show, but I'm also like, look at the environments. Like, yo, this is crazy. There's grass in the living room, y'all. Like, what is like these environments look incredible. I might need to start watching this show on a bigger TV, right? I might need to start watching this show on a bigger TV. I'll admit that I might be messing up and mostly watching this show on my bedroom TV. Is good, but I noticed like at the beginning of the episode there was like that little thing. You ever notice like how at the beginning of the episodes they sometimes be like, optimized for like Dolby sound or something. Like I gotta admit, like I might be a Dolby boy now. Like ever since my experience with seeing Avatar in Dolby, like I'm definitely a believer that it definitely enhances the experience. So like I might have to mess around and like from here on out, or at least maybe even go back and watch some of the scenes in this episode, just like either watch it on the bigger TV in the living room with the subwoofer, or I might have to mess around and pull out the projector. I'm not 100% certain which way I should go, but let me. I'm open to suggestions. Like, is it worth it? Like, I remember there was that scene where it was like they look out at the city and they use this camera angle where it's like they're looking up at Joel. They're looking up at Joel, and you see this vast landscape, and it almost feels like this scene gave like it was just like it. My TV wasn't doing a good enough job. Like this scene looked incredible. My TV definitely wasn't doing a good enough job with what it was supposed to be showing, or the way it was supposed to be delivering it to me. Right? Like I might need to go downstairs, hook up the TV. The TV downstairs is 4K. It ain't no super duper 4K, but it's 4K. So it might just mess around and see if that improves the experience. I might have to go back and do that. Um, but like it's crazy, right? It's really crazy. It's like eerie to look at this stuff when you're watching it, and it's like you realize because like they move a little bit further in the episode, and like Ellie is like talking, and she's like, "Is this where they bombed?" And then you're like, "Oh, yo, they bombed! Like that scene at the beginning. They bombed." She's like, "Bomb! They did it! They did it! They did it! They bombed the city!" And it's like and it's kind of like right, like it almost makes it feel just a little too real, like this could really happen. So like right now seeing this in the show is just playing with my anxiety levels a little bit, just like a little bit, because it's like this could really happen. That's like some wild stuff. Like, yo, like it almost just seems just a little too believable. That's all I'm saying, right? Like they doing it too good of a job right now. HBO, you need to tone it down just a little bit, just so I know, just so I could sleep a little bit. But yeah, I love the environments. I love the aesthetics a lot. Um, I love how the show's like filming so much of this episode in these dark and confined places. Like this particular episode, they do this thing where it's like you see like even when you first meet Joel, Ellie, and Tess, they're in that room where they're like almost interrogating her, and it's in that tight, confined space, right at the beginning of the episode. And Joel is all like, "Yo, put a bullet in it." And like, what are we waiting for? Like, and like they have all these nice, tight, super detailed, tight knit environments, and it's like I don't know. It's like it reminds me of the aesthetics of the game. So that's what's working for me because it feels like they use a lot of the over the shoulder camera angles and they use a lot of the looks that are inspired by the game, right? So like they have that scene where they walk into this room where like the room is like flooded and there's like a pool of water and Ellie's like, I don't know how to swim. And Joel is like, right? So that environment though, that environment looks so cool to me, right? There's so many scenes where I know I'm watching HBO. That's Pedro Pascal. That's Bella Ramsey. This is I'm watching live action people, but I feel like I should be holding my video game controller in my hand, like my video game reflexes are kicking in and it's like, yo, I need to be solving a puzzle right now. I need to be climbing that wall. I need to figure out how to get from here to there. Like they're triggering my gamer reflexes and it's kind of confusing, but it's kind of cool. But yeah, it's cool. I like it. I like the environments. I like the aesthetics a lot. I like that they play with the darkness in these tight, confined environments. I like how they play with the light, right? It's like every time they go outside, it's the signaling of the beginning and the end, right? They go outside near the beginning of the episode when they embark on their quest, and they go outside at the end when they make it through the room with the clickers. It feels like every time they go outside, I just beat another level in the game, right? Like I know now that that's the show's visual communication to me that this is where something is beginning and ending. They go outside. There's some scene of the light. They go outside. I get it now, right? Like that's cool. I really, really like that. Speaking of them clickers, though, yo. Speaking of those clickers, yo, for real, um, I'm really, 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 really loving how the show likes to like kind of play with both horror and suspense. Now, I know this is mostly a drama, but there's a real sense of threat throughout the show. Like you can almost always feel it in the background. This episode sets up some fantastic moments, right? Like there's that whole scene where they go in the museum, right? And it's something wild because Joel is like, "Yo, we got to go in the museum," and they show the outside of the museum and it looks crazy. Um, and they keep building up the tension in this scene as they make their way through this museum. First they're making their way through and they got to be quiet, right? Like, all right, everybody be quiet. And then they get a little bit further and it's like, whoa, now we got to be silent. Everybody gets silent. And it's like, they're doing just a fantastic job in the direction, the pacing of the show, the emotional narrative, making sure that I'm going on an emotional roller coaster throughout the show and keeping my attention from beginning to end. Now, this is the sign of a really smart, really good director who knows really tight editing, knows when emotional beats need to be hit, knows when emotion where people left off, and how to ease them back down. I really, really appreciate that in this episode. That's like I said, I'm gonna keep an eye on that director. That director did his thing this episode. But those are all really cool, tight knit things that really added to this episode in this moment and added to that sense of like dread and suspense. Um, right? Like there's that, somebody help me out, right? Like, I think there's that scene where they actually meet with the clickers. I forget if that's like actually lifted directly from the game. It felt like it was lifted directly in the game, but I'm not gonna lie because I'm not 100% sure. I think The Last of Us came out almost 10 years ago, to be honest with you. I honestly don't remember if this specific scene was in the game, but it feels like it was to me anyway. Um, and just so the people who have played the game, and I'm from here on out, I'm going to refer to us as the initiated. Yeah, sure, I don't remember everything, but I'm still initiated. But we knew, at least those of us who are initiated knew that things in this episode were going to constantly go that pace. Things were going to go that route. Things were about to get real. I think even before the museum, the show kind of foreshadowed it with that scene where they were walking through like this highway, and you could just hear that clicker, like, right, like you can hear that clicker in the background, like, and people's like, yo, like Joel and Tess just like go ghost, like, yo, 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 right, like. And for those of us who played the game, we knew when we heard that sound, things was about to get real. This game was really, really, really about this show. Here I go, calling it a game again. This show is really about to pick up from here on out. But we knew it was about to get real from the moment we see that. And we get that open shot of the infected and just the number of them that are out there, foreshadowing, again, more of what's going to happen in the museum later. Now, Joel mentions in this episode that some of the infected can live for like 20 years. And I think that that's something that we're going to see later, right? I feel like he's foreshadowing something when he says that. Like, I don't know what he's talking about, but I feel like he's going to show us a clicker that should have died, but it's still alive from 20 years ago. We're going to see what's going on there. He also teaches us that the infected can act like a hive mind. Now, this I think is new. I'm pretty sure this is new. Like, there was that scene where they were walking into the museum, and Joel like takes the butt of his gun, right, and he just like bangs against that, like that root of the fungus or whatever, and he's like, oh, it's dry, it's dead, whatever, and it's like, what are you doing? What's going on here? But it's like we learn throughout this episode that they actually communicate through these roots. Like, it's like a hive mind. Like, we see it later in the episode, but like they're foreshadowing how like they can talk to each other and alert each other of the presence of people through these roots. And I'm like, yo, I'm first off, thank you for not putting that in the game, Naughty Dog, because like I didn't need those problems. Like, that game was hard enough. Like, I didn't even get to. Can I just take a side moment for a second, y'all? Yo, real quick. My cousin laughs at me to this day. Jay, if you watching, I know you laughing to this day, because for the longest, yo, I first had this game when it came out on PS3, and for the longest, I could not beat this game for nothing. Like, I could not beat this game. Like, back when PS3 was like at peak PS3, I was like peak video game Anthony. I was like peak video game Anthony. I was like, like I was walking up to every game and I was putting every game on the hardest level, y'all. Like, I was like, I got this. Like, I was sitting here, I was wrecking people in Halo, I was wrecking people in Destiny. I'm a competitive type player, hardest setting, headshot. That's me, right? And then this game hung me upside down by a chain. It gave me a revolver while I'm dangling from side to side. Yo, when I tell you I could not beat this game, I couldn't beat this game. I stopped playing. It was the first game I stopped playing for a while, and that's when I realized I might be getting too old for video games. But like, it took me a while. I actually didn't start playing the game again until the PS4 remake, and when the PS4 remake came out, yeah, like that's when what Derpy Entertainment, can I throw my sandwich at you? Yeah, I mean, I prefer if you give me a super chat, but you could throw your sandwich at me. I take it. Um, it took me a while until the game came out on PS4 till I finally played it again. I picked it up. I didn't put it on hard. I put it on normal like a regular human being should, because that game was not easy. I put it on normal. I played the game again, and I finally made my way through. Um, but yeah, going back to this, like, yeah, we see that cool open shot of the infected. We see that they could talk to each other through the roots that grow everywhere, and these roots are like everywhere. They're on buildings, they're on coming out of cars, they're on the ground, and that's why I'm like, yo, I'm glad they didn't put this in the game because I would have never made it through. I would have never survived. The game was hard enough, but they always that, but it was everywhere. Now the action and everything about what they did when they actually encountered the clickers, I thought was kind of cool. Now, I almost wanted like I'm gonna try to calm down because there's a little bit of recency bias, right? Like I'm still hyped from the episode. It was just last night and all, but like I like how like when we saw the clickers, they like looked like almost exactly how I imagine they should look from the game. Like when we actually see the clickers pop up, like hold on. Let's actually look at that scene. Let me see if I could. Yeah, right. Like yo, this scene right here when they actually build up where the clicker is about to come out and that clicker actually come through. Yo, right? Like the way they build up the tension right here is crazy. So everything about this scene I thought was really, really cool. Like, you know what? Yo, hold on. Yo. Yeah, right here. My man come in tweaking, right? He comes in tweaking, like, and then there's like, yo, is that another one? Like, yo, what are we doing here today? Yo, yo, yo. Anyway, look, I ain't gonna go too crazy. I ain't gonna show too much of this scene. I ain't we don't need no copyright strikes. We don't need no copyright strikes, but we kind of get the idea, right? When these clickers pop up in this scene right here, like, yo, we know everything just got real. Everything just got real. And I like how like even like not only did they look just like the clickers in the game, they acted just like the clickers in the game. Like when they was fighting, they swinging their arms and they spaghetti in their arms at Joel. Like they had that one little shot where you just see them and Joel is like fighting for his life against this clickers. And it's like, people's like again, the uninitiated starting to learn like, all right, the clickers can't see. They only rely on sound and other senses to know where Joel and everybody is. Like, look at them. Like, honestly, look at them. My man doesn't have eyes. Like, he obviously is not seeing where Joel is. So it's when in this scene that we're also having a moment to explain to everybody exactly how the clickers work with our first encounter with them. But yeah, everything in this scene was pretty cool. I almost wanted to say it was epic. I'm gonna try to calm down from recency bias, but I really, really, really like this scene. I like what they did right there. Now, the crazy thing about this episode, to me anyway, one of the craziest things about this episode was the way that I felt like the episode ended. Like, obviously, the show did a lot in a little bit of time, right? We already went through, explaining, Ella's immunity. We already went through our first encounter with some of the clickers. And then the show proceeds a little bit more with the Fireflies. Like, yo, like so much happens, but they find time to bring back the Fireflies who've taken another L. Like, yo, this has got to be the least successful group on television since Team Rocket. Like, this group just can't catch a break. Like, they just keep making life difficult for the Fireflies. It almost seems like the show sets it up like the Fireflies are gonna have all the answers. Like, they're gonna know everything. We got to get Ella here. They're gonna figure out a cure. Like the Fireflies got all the answers, y'all. But every time we come across the Fireflies got mopped. They got washed up. The Fireflies is all spread out. They're laid out all over the floor. They get no wins, and it's starting to look hopeless for this group. Now, like I said, this show does do a lot, even in this episode, and it kind of leaves it on a cliffhanger. Well, maybe not really a cliffhanger, but it just like leaves you wanting more. Um, is spoiler alert, obviously, if you guys are watching this, oops. Tess makes the sacrifice play because Tess got bit, yo, and I guess it was in that scene, like when they were fighting, that scene, that clip we was just watching, that scene there, she like ran off with one of the clickers chasing her, and her and uh, Ella was together, and Ellie was together, and they separated. Um, so I guess when she separated from the group, Tess got bit and then came back with an axe and then hit that dude in the head. But yeah, when she realized that she was bit, and um, I guess one of the clickers in the room started to move, Joel shot it in the head, and then you see in the episode that um the spores around his body start to like communicate and start talking to the other clickers in the nearby area, like, yo, here they go, here they are, they right here, y'all, they right here, here they are. And that's when it's starting to get even more real. But it's like Tess is making the sacrifice play. The show's it's going up in the crescendo. Like how much more are you gonna squeeze into this episode? Um, and shout out to Anna Torv, right? Shout out to Anna Torv, who did a great job as Tess. I think her time on this show was all too brief. I wouldn't have been mad if she had made it just like maybe one more episode, because I thought she was actually kind of cool in this show. I thought she played like a good counter to Pedro Pascal's Joel. I think they had like some good chemistry going there. But it is kind of faithful to the game. Like, Tess didn't make it very long in the game either. But I really, really, really like how Tess went out and they set up this uh scene. I think this whole scene here was just outright incredible. Um, Another thing about it was like, another thing that I thought was different was the in Joel's personality is like, I don't remember him being particularly warm to Tess in the video game, but I don't remember him being this cold to Tess in the video game. Like, Tess was like, "Yo, I'm gonna stay behind here and give you guys a chance," and he was like, "All right, deuces." Like, and he just went on about his business. Like, yo, I don't remember Joel being this cold. Like, he was out, and I don't even think he looked back. And Ellie was like, "Yo, what are we doing? Like, what? My G, she's with us. Like, what is going on?" Like, yo, I didn't realize that. Yo, I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that characterization change. I didn't expect that. It was just wow. Now, that part where Tess is standing and staying behind after Joel leaves, I thought that was a little weird, right? Like, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like, Tess was like, the room was filling with gasoline, and I think the infected was like running across the screen, and you see Tess like standing there, frozen, like playing with the lighter, like, and it's like, why is she just standing there? Like, I was kind of confused. Like, when I saw this and I knew that she was gonna go out, I honestly thought she was gonna like I don't know. I thought she was gonna Sarah Connor her way out. Like I thought she was gonna go down swinging. I thought she was gonna Xena or like I don't know. Like she was gonna start bucking at them like salt. Like I thought she was gonna go ham on these zombies and go down swinging trying to light this thing. But she just stood there. And the weirdest part is like, did she just stand there and let that thing kiss her? Right? Like what the I, mm, mm-mm, 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 mm, mm-mm. I don't like that. Mm-mm. Why she do that? Anyway, look, like I know she was making the sacrifice play, but that I just thought that was weird. I thought she was gonna go down bucking, and she went down tonguing. Ugh, like that. But yeah, I thought this episode was cool. Changes and all. I learned a few fun things about science. I learned mycelium, which is the thread that makes up the fungus. It can make up the spores of the fungus. They have that cool explanation of the mycelium, and why they make that change after the episode. If you guys hang out after the episode, I think they have like a little quick um like little, not like a documentary, but it's almost like an inside the episode type thing. It's not like a making the episode. It's like you see the behind the scenes where they like
well
kind
before
of
we ever
explain
rolled
the
any film,
science
we
of
gathered
the
together a
clickers. You see
small
them
army of
linked up.
people
You get
to
see,
work on
like,
how to get
they
the
did
clickers
all
right.
the designs, but
And getting
they
the
also
clickers right
explain the
means that
mycelium,
people who played the
which
game
is,
will go, that's it. And people who haven't played the game are going to
like
go,
I said, the stuff that makes
oh my God.
fungus threads and allows them to do that communication. They found that specific, um, I guess, strand or fungus. Is strand the right term? Somebody correct me. Help me out here. But they find that specific type of fungus that can do that. So they're like, yo, throw that in the show. Whew. Anyway, yo, like for real, I really, really liked this episode. I really thought this was a really, really, really cool episode. Um, this is definitely going to go down as one of HBO's best shows that they've done in a while. I understand why they're so tight with the episodes. I wish they would have gave me the screeners. They only gave the screeners to like 10 critics or something like that. So I'm watching it every week like everybody else. So that's the reason we're doing these reactions on Monday nights. But yeah, I really like this episode. I'm going to actually go ahead and give this one a final score. I'm going to give this episode of The Last of Us a 9 out of 10. It's definitely one of the best things that HBO has put out in a long time, and it's only looking like it's going to get better from here. Real quick, I wanted to also show you guys this other thing. Something that they keep doing, and I talked to you guys about this earlier, which was gamer reflex, right? They keep doing these things throughout the episode where it feels like I'm seeing scenes from the game and I need to just pick up my controller and just do something. I came across this cool little video that somebody uploaded online earlier where it's like you see like the comparison of the game to the show, and you can see exactly how close these video game graphics
Right?
are
Joe,
to
can you help me?
No. Tess,
that was
it's
PS3.
over.
I'm staying.
PS5 must be doing wonders. That was PS3.
Our luck had to run out
but yeah,
sooner or later.
the way that the cinematics look, the way that they did the camera angles, the way they directed the scenes in the video game, shot for shot, almost remake in the show, I thought was really cool. You can find this video online. I'm not gonna, but like, yeah, they have a cool set of these videos where you see these comparisons that I thought was really cool, and I just wanted to show for those of you who are uninitiated and just wanted to see exactly what it was that Anthony was talking about when he's like, yo, he keeps saying like this is pulling out these gamer react. This is what I'm talking about. Like, look at this. Like,
I need you to get her to Bill and Frank's. They'll take her off your hands. They'll handle it from here.
No, I can't. They won't take her. They're not going to take
They
her.
will, because you'll convince them. Yes, you
for
will.
this one.
I never ask you.
Let me see. I think that's all I have for this one. Ain't really no comments, right? Nah, ain't a lot of comments. But yo, For those of you who do catch this on the replay, come join us. We're going to do this every Monday night. We're going to be going live. I'm going to be looking for these comments. I'm going to be looking at you, Derpy Entertainment, to be throwing sandwiches at people. But yeah, I'm going to check you guys. Next week, I'll be doing it again. If you guys like these videos, you want to see more, please do me a favor. Join us. Like these videos. And please, like 99% of you who are watching ain't subscribed, subscribe. It really does a lot to help my channel and help me grow. It'll go a long way with helping me to continue to do these things and continue to deliver this content out to you guys. It would really mean a lot to me. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to check you guys